Okay, good morning grade 12s. We're going to do question 3, object-oriented programming from the MayJuneNSC 2019 question paper. This is the question over here. There's the interface, and what have we been given? We've got a constructor create that's been given to us, an incomplete toString method, and 2 accessor methods. Now, accessor means that they are functions. So let's go and look at what else we've been given. We've got these attributes, in other words, the private fields of this class. These are all the class definitions, okay? In the class definition and of a T-trainee class. So the object trainee is going to have these private fields or attributes, a number for the trainee, a name, number of hours that the trainee attended, and the amount of sales that the trainee made. So the trainee gets trained. So let's go to the question and let's also look at our program just to confirm. Here is the class definition. Remember, you open your class by saying file open, and you click on the other .pas file that you find there. Right, trainee. Here it is, the trainee class. T trainee equals class. An integer is your trainee ID. The name is a string. And hours and sales are real data values. And here are the methods of this class that have been given to us. A constructor create, which receives an integer and a string. And then we have 3 functions, the get trainer and get name, and 2 strings. So have a look at it. Constructor create has been written already for you. There it is. Setting the hours and the sales to 0 and initializing the private fields to the parameters that come into constructor create. Then we have 2 functions, get trainee, which returns an integer. Result equals whatever that private field f trainee is, f trainee ID. And then another function called get name, which returns the private field f name. Then they have an incomplete toString function, just saying result equals the private field and then a full stop. We're going to obviously get instructions to finish it off. Right, now they're saying 3.1.1. The number of hours of training attended by the trainee and the amount of sales can be increased. Number of hours and amount of sales. So update hours and update sales. Write code for a method called update hours that receives a value and increases the hours. So we're going to increase this private field there, which means we have to know that this is going to be a procedure, a set method, or in other words, a mutator. Changing the private fields on mutators, or another word for it is set methods. And update sales is also going to increase the sales. So we're going to increase the hours by whatever the parameter is and increase the sales by whatever the parameter is of update sales. So let's go and write those procedures quickly over here beneath the others. And it's going to receive a string and another procedure, update sales. Actually, it's not receiving a string, it's receiving a real value because we're updating hours and sales. Now let's see if I've got the right procedure. Update hours, update sales. Right. We must know what data type we're going to use here. We have to know that's got to match that data type over there, those data types. I'm going to implement both of them at the same time. What I'm going to do is say f hours. For update hours, we'll say f hours. We're setting a new value to f hours. This is going to be f hours, the previous one, plus r hours. And then this update sales will be if sales equals the previous if sales plus R sales. So that's that done. 6 marks quick. Right, write code for a method called qualifiers for bonus. The method must return, so therefore we're going to write a function. It's got to return true if the trainee qualifies for bonus, or false if the trainee does not. So qualifiers for bonus is going to be a function. It's going to return true or false. It's going to be a Boolean function. And here as the condition, there must be at least 15 hours of training, and the amount of sales must be at least 1,200 Rand. So let's go and write that function. Write the header over here. Function qualifies for bonus, I hope it's bonus, and must return a Boolean data type. Double check that there's no parameters coming into this function. Qualifiers for bonus, yeah, that's it. Doesn't tell you that there's any parameters, so we're working on the private fields only. The hours must be 15 or more hours, and the sales must be 1,200 Rand or more. When it says at least 15, that's the lowest number it can be. So let's go and write this function, highlight it, Control Shift C, and then we're going to say, well, you can make a Boolean variable here, b bonus, and do your calculation, then send the value of the Boolean, of this Boolean variable here as a result. You're going to say if hours is greater than or equal to 15 and both of those two things, if sales is greater than or equal to 1200. You don't put a Rand symbol in front, okay? These are numbers. The computer doesn't see these values as rands or cents or anything else. They're just plain numbers. If those two conditions, that and means both of them must be true, then we don't even have to have a Boolean variable here. We can just say result equals true. Else result equals false. It's a good idea to put this else here. You have to put that there. I want to make sure that that's returned. Right, finished. Next one. Write code to complete the provided toString method to return the string in this format. Alright, so we've got to have name and surname of trainee, attended, so many hours of training, number of hours of training attended, hours of training, and so plans the value of. Okay. So we've got to put these extra words in, and in brackets you've got to put the trainee ID in brackets there. Then you've got to put F hours there and the value there. Attended so many hours of training and so plans the value of. Right, so plus, and then in brackets you have to actually put a bracket here, plus float to string f hours. Let's go and do, we're going to round it to no decimal places. It's a bit of a string handling business here. Result equals, just want you to see this properly, so I'm moving on to the next line. Plus attended and then you're going to put in the number of hours, and we're going, I mean, this is, no, this is not float to string, this one goes there, training ID goes here. If trainee ID, if trainee ID, I forgot about the if trainee ID, eh? If trainee ID is that thing there, oh, it's an integer, so we have to say int to string. Int to string. So we have got to put, if name is already there, and the trainee ID must be in brackets, plus attended so many hours, so we have to say plus hours of training and sold plants to the value of and leave a space, and then plus, now we can format it to rands and cents. Now we can use float to string if, and then if sales, comma ff currency, comma 8, comma 2. So there it is. Don't forget to do file and save all. It's quite a mouthful there. Now I'm going to run the program. Just to make sure that the class definition has compiled. Oh, it seems to be freezing up here for some unknown reason. But it's not giving me any errors. So I'm basically happy with that anyway. Right, so there it is. Class has been written. Now we're going to go to the next instruction, which is talking about the other unit, our main program, this one. So 3.2 is going to be used for the next instructions. Here we have them here. They're using the main program. Everything was done here for 3.1, 3.2, we're moving on to this. And the buttons are numbered there, you can see. Okay, a text file called logbook.txt contains log entries of all the training and sales activities of trainees. And we've got an object called obj trainee in the main program. Let's go and have a look at it. There it is. Global object that's been declared. They've given their provided code as well. We also need to look at our text file that we have for this, called logbook. Okay, now let's have a read of what it says. Each log entry contains information in the following format: the trainee ID, semicolon, a character T or S, indicating whether it's trainee, the number that follows is trainee, or if it is sales, training hours or sales hours, and the numerical value is going to be either training or sales numbers. So these are all decimal point numbers. The first two lines, there they go. Trainee ID was trainee ID 12, attended so many hours of training. So if it's a T, then it means training. Right, the user must select the name of the trainee from the combo box. Code is provided to do that. Let's have a look at the code. S name is going to be the name of the trainee. The trainee ID, we don't have to worry about how it was done. Although it does help if you know how to use a combo box. Trainee ID. Let's have a look at our program. You choose the trainee, and if you look at the items of the combo box here, I'm clicking on this combo box, CMB trainee. Let's go and check out the items. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at two screens. No, there's no items in the combo box. The items are going to be filled. In this form create form, it's already code's been written, they've already included, so you don't have to worry about how it gets in there, and you don't have to worry about anything else except to say that this is the name and this is the integer for the trainee ID. And in 3.2.1, all you have to worry about is extract, well, it's already been done, use the variables sname and trainee ID to instantiate obj trainee. And we know how to instantiate. We say obj trainee equals t trainee dot create, and if you look there we have the tooltips coming up, the trainee ID first and the name second. So all you do is write the trainee ID, our trainee ID, which is going to be this over here, these variables here you put in, and then comma, the second parameter must be a string. Just so happens they're the same name as the constructor create, same names that they used. So S name goes in second, and S name came from here, and trainee ID came from there. Right, so we've instantiated the object. Next thing we must do is set the button 3_2.2 to visible. btn question 3_2_2 dot visible equals true. Right, that's that done. Next question. Okay, 3.2.2, check whether or not the text file exists. Logbook.txt, and close the program. Well, then we'll do application.terminate there. Right, so if not file exists, logbook.txt, then begin and end, show message, file not found, and then we will application dot terminate. That is ending the program. If you're just going to end the procedure, then you say exit. We don't normally use application or terminate, normally just exit. We all know that exit just closes this button, click event, the program is still running. But we now, they said close the program, so application dot terminate. If it exists, we're going to search in each line of the text file for the trainee's ID. Right, we've got to read from the text file regardless. We're going to go through each line of the text file. Right, so we've got to get a text file variable. And S-line string. And because I want to do copying things out of there, I'm also going to copy, what else do we need to copy out? Let's see, you want to get the number of hours, a real number. It's going to be either the training hours or the amount of sales, depending on whether the text, this character here is a T or a S. Now we can't assume that there's only going to be, there might be a number 1 there, not a 12. So we have to copy, and then we're going to read this line copy that into an RD number variable, srd, which I used here, and then I'm going to save that value t or s, and then I'm going to save that into a real variable. So I'm going to call the next t or s is going to be s type, and then I'm going to make a variable called r number and make it real. Okay, so we're going to read from the text file now. I've got my little variable set up so that I can just, when I read a line, I can copy them all into those things. Copy that 12 into srd, then delete, then copy that t into s type, and then delete, and then copy that. I'm going to delete that, and then we're going to, the rest of the line we'll go and put into rnum. Okay, so let's go and do our assign file statement, because we're reading from a text file, remember. So it's my file, comma, logbook.txt. I hope I got my text file variable, text file name spelled correctly. If I haven't, then is it called logbook? Where you? No, not there. Sorry. Logbook, yeah. And reset my file. Then while not end of file, my file do, and then begin and end. So we're going to read ln my file into s line. Then we're going to say the srd is that first thing. This rd is going to be equal copy from s line. Remember, once you've read the line into s line, that whole thing is going to be s line. So we're going to copy from the first character to the position of the semicolon -1. So copy from s line from 1 to the pos of the semicolon in s line -1. It's a trick that we use. Now I'm not going to delete yet, because I'm first going to find out if srd is equal to whatever is whatever the person chose from the combo box. Remember, we got to go and choose a trainee, so the combo box contents have to hold a trainee. So I'm going to call it strainee Now the combo box contents is going to hold maybe 3.2.2. Yeah, we are. If the Chinese ID is found. Ooh, we got to go and we've already done that. We're not going to read from the combo box, no. Because guess what? When this object was created in 3.1.1, in this button click here, we created an object belonging to tTrainee class. Now if you look at tTrainee class, we have a function called getName. We've also got a function called getTraineeID, which we actually need. And where is it? It's been written for us. getTraineeID. What does it return? fTraineeID. So all we have to do is call this function getTraineeID. So we have to ask a question here. Instead of getting to the combo box, instead of referring straight to the combo box, no, we've got to say if the object name, which is a global object, obj trainee, we have to use a method of the class to get the trainee ID. If that is equal to object trainee, if object trainee dot get trainee ID equals srd. See what I'm doing there? I used obj trainee dot and then get trainee ID, which will return, this is the class now, returning fTraineeID. value. And how did that get in there? Well, when we created this class, we used rTraineeID over here. These are local variables. We can't use rTraineeID in button 3.1.1. You can't use it in this button click here because it is local to this button. It's not a global variable. rTraineeID was used to create an object belonging to this class tTrainee. Now we've got to use the method of the class called getTraineeID to go and get that trainee ID in 3.2.2 because obj trainee is a global variable belonging to the class. And now we can use this method to return the trainee ID. So if it's equal to the SRD from this text file, like that one, then we can go and do our delete and copy, etc. So now we're going to delete stuff. Delete from S-line. We're still using S-line, okay? S-line is read from the text file. We're deleting from that S-line variable, and then we will be left with this. We're deleting all of that, and then we'll be left with the T there at the beginning. And then we're going to say if. Now we're going to copy that T using the position of the hash. If copy, why am I got an if statement? Well, in the question it says, let's go to the question, 3.2.2, sorry. Extract the entry T or an S if the training hour is found, okay? Indicating, so the T or the S is a value indicating number of hours of training, or, and use update hours and update sales. If it's a T, then we'll have update hours. If it's an S, we're going to call update sales method. Where's update hours and update sales? Right in this class here. You wrote it, see? Update hours, update sales. This is our class definition. So the hours, we can update hours with the real value, or update sales with the real value. So if copy from S line, so I'm going to use my method again of copying from that S line, position this time of the hash, because whether it's a T or an S is going to be shown here. Position of the hash -1, we'll get a T. Okay. Then, if that is equal to a T, then I just want you to be able to see better. Then we're going to call the method, then we're going to basically, yeah, actually maybe do it in a bit of a longer way, because let's not do this. Let's go and get our T or a S over here. Remember I made a variable for it, S type. There we go, there's the variable I made. We're going to say S type equals copy from there. If S type equals T, then we will call a method, else we will call another method. But before we do that, let's go and do our deleting as well while we're about it, and get the numerical value as well at the end of the text file. So once we've got that into S type, and then let's delete all of that, okay, with this instruction here, using a hash instead, because those are hashes there. Okay, and then we'll have the rnum being equal to string to float S line, because that's all that's going to be left, is that last number there. We're going to put that into rnum. we want that value anyway, because when you use rnum, if it's t, then we're going to call the method to update hours. If it's s, we're going to call the method to update sales. Update sales. And both of them are going to have a real number, so we're going to call those methods. And what are they? They're procedures. Therefore, we just write them. But we've got to write obj trainee dot update hours. See there, it comes up. And then we're going to put in rnum. See that variable there? If you don't get the tooltips, it just means that your class definition here didn't implement properly because there was some syntax or whatever error. You must just go and make sure that you put in the right variable over there, okay? And then you will be fine. And the next one, we're going to say obj else. There's only other two options. The other one will be t. S. If it's not t, it'll be s. Dot update sales with rnum. Okay, so there you have it. You don't have to worry about if it's an s, because it's either going to be a t or s. I don't see any other numbers there. To be absolutely sure, we can say if s type equals to s, you can do that too. I can even say uppercase, yeah, if you want, uppercase. Why uppercase? Because s type is a string. We didn't make it a char data type. Even though it's only one character, it is still referred to as a string, therefore you still have to say uppercase. Right, so there's that code done. What next? Right, once all the data text was processed, do the following: clear the output area, display information using a toString, and set 3.3.2. So we use toString, clear the rich edit, this thing, red question 3, not inside our if statement, not inside the while loop to go through the text file, no, over here, red question 3 dot clear, red question 3 dot lines dot add. Now how do we use our toString method? The method here, the toString, there it is, it's called a function. So we've got to refer to the object name, which is obj trainee in the main program. This is the main program I'm in now. Okay, you must know the difference between the two. I'm in the main program, I'm calling dot toString. There it is. There we go, and then btn question 3.2.3 dot visible equals true. Right. Now, if the trainee's ID number could not be found in the text file, display a message. Trainee is not registered. Right, we've got to go back to our text file loop, our while loop in the text file. This is if that is equal to that, So now we've got an else here. Else. We've got a display. Trainee is not registered. No, not over here. No, because remember we're going through the whole text file. There will be a lot of trainees. As you can see, trainee 12 will be somewhere in this plot, and then maybe further down the line there's 12s. They're all over the place. There's a whole lot of 13s. There's a whole lot of 11s and 10s and so on. If the person chose a number that's not in this list, okay, then basically we have to stop what we're doing. Well, we're going to go through the whole text file. Well, we must use a Boolean flag, okay? Let's go and get a Boolean flag. Be found. Boolean. So we'll set be found to false before we do anything. Then, when you're going through the text file, if we find even one occurrence, we'll just say be found equals true, and that will help. It'll go through every single line. If it still doesn't find anything, this be found will always will be false. Can you see that? Will be false. Be found will be false. If after the whole text file has gone through and be found is still false, then we will display a message in the rich edit, in the output area. So, well, we have to do the dot clear. The message we're going to display will be trainee not found, or something to that effect. But we have to change this around now. We're going to clear the rich edit. There's a little bit of a trick there in the question, and we have to put an else here and do this. See what I did there? And remember, this is going to take place no matter what. So if they do found the trainee, we'll call the toString, otherwise we're going to say trainee not found. Right, I'm moving on to the next part now. Okay, 3.2.3. Determine if the right code to determine if the trainee qualifies for a bonus, using the qualifies for bonus. Now you must remember that we have to look at our class definition. If it says qualifies for bonus, there it is, a function, it's called Boolean, and then they want us to display a message whether or not the trainee qualifies. So that's fine. The trainee qualifies for bonus, does not qualify for bonus. 3 marks. It's very easy to do that one. And that's in this other button here, qualifies for bonus. Make sure you put in the right button. And then we call our method called qualifies for bonus. So we say if obj trainee, our object name dot qualifies for bonus. There it is, you find it. Equals true. Then we'll say red question 3 dot lines dot add bonus, or a whole long. I'm not going to write the whole sentence, otherwise it'll be take too long. But you've got to write the whole sentence. Okay. No bonus. No. Okay. There it is, 3 marks for that. I'm going to run the program. Oops, where are my errors? SID, the get trainee ID is a string, no, an integer, sorry. Get trainee ID returns an integer, okay, and I'm trying to see if it looks like a SID, but SID is a string, so I'm going to say string to int, open brackets, SID. There we go. So let's see if there's any other errors. Okay, I found out what was wrong. I have to move this over here. Okay, so we can choose Cody Shaw, click continue, process logbook data, and does he qualify a bonus? And let's have a look. 66 hours. Okay, we're going to round it to 2 decimal points. I forgot to do that. That's all. Okay. And then Tyrone Kensley. So let's go run the program again. Sorry about that. Choose Tyrone Kensley. Process logbook data and qualify bonus, no bonus. I just got to round that off to 2 decimal places. So I'll do that quickly. What do I have to round it to 2 decimal places? In the toString event of our class. When we added this, it's supposed to be 2 decimal places. And that's all. Done. You can try this by yourself without looking.